afternoon, snakers. We are getting ready for our first walk of the week. Probably be evening by the time we get started, but decent spot that's produced decent results all year. So even though it's cold and dry, I think we've got a chance at least finding a few things. So check back in if and when we get our first. All right, everybody. So we've got our actually, this is our third snake of the evening. We found a few cyanonatrix at the start that I didn't get on film, but this is a mock viper. So I believe that might be the third video that we've got mocks in, but the last one was in Taiwan, and this one is in Hong Kong. So I've described them in the past. I'll include some links to those videos here for anybody who wants some more detail, but this one is sleeping on this fern frond, and it looks like it's got a pretty big meal in it. So I'm not going to pick it up or move it. I don't want it to regurgitate, but I think you can get a pretty good look at it from here. So that's great. It's super late. The weather's not that bad tonight. The moon's not that bad, but it's late in the year. It's quite dry, so I don't expect to find too many more snakes. So we're quite happy to come across this guy. All right, so we'll check back in if we find anything else. Okay, everyone, we have a new species for the vlog. This is a bicolored stream snake, genus Opisthotropis. And these are not too uncommon at the spot we're at. We've got some mountain streams, which is where they usually live. They like cooler, faster flowing water. And you can see where they get their name from. They have a very, very clear delineation on their sides that presents two separate colors. They actually have a really hard black line down the center and then kind of a brownish olive on the top and an orangish, peachish color on the laterals down just above the ventrals. And this is a good size. They can get a little bit bigger, but this is almost full grown. You can see they have, like some of the other stream snakes we've showed, they have these tiny little heads that are used for foraging under rocks and hunting down little stream animals, little fish and shrimp and things like that. I assume they'll also eat worms like a lot of their other snakes from the same genus here in Hong Kong. But yeah, this is a really fun find. Again, we're late in the season, so anything is good at this point. But another snake for the vlog as well. So we'll keep at it and pop back on if we find something else. All right, everyone. So the next snake of the night is a bamboo pit viper. You'll all be familiar with these from previous videos, and you would have seen their cousins in last week's video in Taiwan, the Stenger's viper. So this is a little male. You can tell by the white stripe above the lip, and he's a little bit slow. I think he's a little bit cold, but probably looking for a meal and or maybe a place to hide. So we'll just watch for a minute here, and then we'll get on and see if we can't find some more snakes. But pretty good for November. Let's move around this way and see if we can't see his face. Okay, there he is. Nice dark colored eyes, almost a little bit reddish, almost like the vipers in Taiwan, but still very much the Hong Kong variant. Great, so that's our first hot for the night, and see if we can't find some more. Morning, everybody. Off on our next adventure. I know in previous videos I've talked about how cool it's been, but today it's genuinely cold for Hong Kong. It's probably about 13 Celsius or about 55 Fahrenheit, give or take. A little bit breezy and still quite dry. So, as usual this time of year, we're not hoping for too much today, but it's going to be a nice walk regardless. And if we come up with something, we'll switch back in and show you what we've come up with. So stick with us and we'll get back if we find something. So nothing quite yet. I thought I'd stop and take a bird's eye view of this pretty little stream though. Always hoping to see some of the more rare stream species from up here, but yet to find anything from the overhead. Regardless, it's a nice place to stop and warm up in the sunshine. And I also wanted to take a second to remind folks that if you're enjoying the videos and you want to see more, please consider giving us a like. And if you're really enjoying them, maybe a subscribe. It definitely helps us keep things going, and definitely something that I really enjoy seeing as well. It's an indication that people like what they're seeing. So if you're interested in helping, that's the best way you can do it. And hopefully you'll be happy with the content coming out this week and into the future. Okay, our first snake, unfortunately, is a deceased mock viper. And relatively freshly deceased, so the snakes are still clearly out, even though there's some cold weather. But this guy looks like maybe he got attacked by something. Really hard to say. And not the best start to the walk, but it is something, and I suppose worth documenting. So we'll keep going. Hopefully there's some in better shape still out there waiting for us. All right, folks. Tried and true opener, the redneck keelback. So for anyone watching these videos, this will not be a new species. For those who are new joiners, this is one of Hong Kong's most common species of snake. They are rear-fanged venomous as well as poisonous. They can secrete poison from the groove on the back of their necks there. They sequester that poison from the toads they eat. And they are charming, charismatic little snakes. So this one is a subadult, I would say. Best way to tell is the head is an olive color, which is similar to what they look like when they're older, but it still has black and yellow coloring, which is something that will fade as they get a little bit bigger. And this one's pretty calm. He looks like he's just basking in some early morning sunshine to try and warm up in this cold weather. But beautiful example, and hopefully not the only one we get today, but if it is, I'm still quite happy. I genuinely didn't expect anything in this cold weather, so a very hardy species indeed. Very funny head movements he's making there. Not sure what that behavior is. I haven't seen that before. Let's watch him for a minute. Very interesting. I assume he's going to make a break for it here, but we'll film him for another couple seconds, see if we can figure out what he's up to. He's making his move. Off he goes. Very cool. Check back in if we get something else. All right, everybody. I have snake number 2 for the day. It is curled up just under my hand, and as you'd expect, it's a non-venomous species. Otherwise, I wouldn't be interacting with it this way. But here comes the reveal. Let's see if he'll sit still for us. There we go. He won't. But this is a copperhead racer, otherwise known as a radiated rat snake. And this is genus Coelognathus, which is the same as some of the Southeast Asian trinket snakes. And they're quite an impressive little animal. They've got these black stripes down the body, which, if they puff up the first third of their body defensively, you'll see there's some white interstitial skin. It'll make those stripes look like blotches. They also have these masking-type bands on their head. And they've got a tail that sort of fades from the stripes into a solid color that's a little bit more washed out until you get to the tip of the tail where it's a bit more coppery orange. So these snakes actually retain these markings through maturity. This is a small juvenile. They actually get up over a little over a meter, I'd say, when they're fully grown. And they'll be a couple of centimeters in diameter, so they're a relatively robust snake. when they're adults. I'd say a medium-sized snake when they're adults. But they're a spitting image of when they're juveniles. Nothing really changes. Coloration could fade a little bit, but generally stays the same. Markings stay exactly the same. So they're quite a beautiful and charismatic little animal. In addition, these snakes are also full of interesting defensive behaviors. So they'll play dead just like a hognose snake will. They'll also S up and puff up and do a lot of false striking with mouth agape. And they'll also knot their bodies up, like you see with some other species. Some of the rat snakes and racers do that in the U.S., and we have some other species here in Hong Kong that do it, mock vipers and a few others. And really interesting and charismatic animals to interact with. So I'm a bit surprised to actually find this one out. It's quite warm in the area we are right now, so maybe he's just sneaking out to try and get in one last meal or warm up before brumation. But really fun to find this. I didn't expect any snakes today, so to come up with two, including one that's a new species for the vlog, is really fantastic. And you can see here they're really interesting looking and fun little snakes. So we are gonna go ahead and let this one go. Just bear with me here, he's running all over the place. We'll let this one go and hopefully be in a position to get himself some food and a nice place to hide before we head into winter. But great find, happy to be able to share it with you. And we're just about at the end of our session today, but if there's anything else before we finish, I'll pop back on and show it to you guys. So here goes our little copperhead racer. And just like that, he's gone. All right, back with the next one. All right, everybody, we are at the end of our walk and haven't come up with anything else. That's not too surprising given the weather, but I'm actually quite happy that we came up with the two snakes that we did, especially that copperhead racer. That's a new one for the vlog and really quite a fun species, so hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll try and get out maybe once or twice more this week if the weather cooperates. Cold weather is still manageable because there's some snakes, montane species, and cold weather species that we could target. A lower chance of finding them on one or two runs, but we'll probably give it a shot anyways. So stick with us and we'll hop back on once we get into one of those trips. All right, everyone, we are out on a mountaintop and it is freezing cold and windy, but the good news is it did rain a little bit today, so not too wet up here, but these are half decent conditions for a few of the rare montane species. So I'm expecting nothing, genuinely, but if we get something, it could be something really, really cool. So check back in with you if we find something. All right, everyone, been walking around for a while, haven't come up with anything really. Still gonna walk around for just a bit more. And I'm going to try and show you something real quick and see if I can do it before he jumps away. If you can see in there, there is a spiny frog. Bit hard to see, I know, but it's at least one herp. One herp for the evening so far. And genuinely not much else. Just so dry and so windy that it's hard to see anything else coming out. But things are a little bit later on the mountains, I find. And again, the cold conditions aren't the single deterrent for stuff. The dryness doesn't help. I thought it would be a little bit wetter than this. But either way, we'll keep on going for a bit and check back in if we find something or if we come up dry and need to close out. Alright, everyone, came up dry tonight, not too surprising, but good walk anyways. We really put some effort in, so I think we're going to call it quits, and I'm pretty sure this will wrap us up for the week as well. If we're able to get out, we'll tag something onto the end, but I think this will probably wrap it up. So, a bit of a shorter video, a little bit less action, but that should be expected this time of year. We'll be back at it again next week, so stay tuned. And as always, if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you really like it, go ahead and click that subscribe button.